Hello, and welcome to the August patron stream. I hope everybody out there is doing well on this Tuesday night. Let me see who I've got with me so far, and then we'll bring on tonight's panel. We have got JHP LLC, Joseph S, Big T. We've got Alexis. We got Dr. CZ Death, Chris. How are you, sir? Captain Halloween, how are you? Laura Hanson. We got Dave out in the chat. Bunny Army 101. JHP, you got all those masks I reviewed? You got them a couple weeks ago. Why? Why would you do that? Those bad Michael Myers masks? Why would you do that? We got Sam Thomason, Scatterbrain 64, Andrew Snickers, Joe Bob, Jimmy L, Future Dead Camper, Dream Emulator, dude, get your butt in here. RJ Skarinki, Anthony Oliver, Michael Sullivan. Hope y'all are doing well. All right, here we go. Yeah, hope everybody's doing good tonight. Lord Brian, what's up? How are you? All right, joining me tonight for the August patron stream, all the way from across the pond, the real Fifth Beatle. Mike, how you doing, sir?
I'm very good, Piz. How you doing?
Doing quite well, man. How's everything going for you?
Yeah, it's not too bad, man. Not too bad. All good, all good. Although there's a threat of Cineworld going out of business, which is, I'm sure, something that you may be aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's something we may talk about. Tonight. I don't know, but how's the weather over in the UK?
Pretty warm by UK standards. Not warm by Kentucky standards, I will say.
Okay,
but it's pretty warm by UK standards.
It has been very, very hot here in Kentucky lately. I've been sweating profusely, a lot. So, but Mike, it's always good to see you, man. Thank you for joining me. Also joining me tonight from the Flesh Wound Features YouTube channel, we have got Dan Shine. What's going on, Dan?
What's up, Piz? How are you doing?
Doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm happy to be here tonight. Just watched the cinematic masterpiece that is Amityville in space. So yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm eagerly anticipating Amityville Karen.
Amityville Karen. We also have Amityville Thanksgiving coming this year. What sucks about this, I had the brilliant idea, and I told Todd, it's like, you know what? Let's review all the Amityville movies, not the official, just anything. And I was like, it'll be cool. We'll be the first ones that have done it. Turns out, Rotted Reviews already did it. So now I've got to suffer through like 100 Amityville movies just to, yeah. So, but we'll be the second ones, maybe. I don't know.
What series has more entries now, Amityville or those? Was it Witchcraft or which? It was Witchcraft. Those Witchcraft movies. Weren't there like 25 of those things?
There's probably like 15 of those. They kind of just became softcore porn movies basically towards the end, but no, Amityville's got it by a country mile. There's I think close to 100.
Oh Jesus.
So it'll take us about 5 years to get through them all.
I wonder if any of, I mean, the DeFeos or the guy who wrote the book, I mean, clearly they're not getting any of this new money, right? Any of this new, okay. They're not a part of any of this new, okay.
You can't copyright an actual location, so you can stick Amityville on everything, unfortunately. So, yeah, so Amityville Karen will probably be next.
What a time. What a time to live in. Wow.
Yes.
So it's a brave new Amityville world.
It is.
Also joining me tonight from Amityville,
Oh,
Lauren, how's it going, Lauren?
Not that far from Amityville, actually. The
ah,
house that's in the movie is in Jersey, not in New York.
yeah.
But I just want to say, love is like a bomb, baby. Come on, get it on. Living like a lover with a radar phone. Never made a bit of sense like any other Def Leppard lyric ever.
I mean, their lyrics were pretty. I mean,
Yeah, they were a shitty band.
they just went above your head. They're very.
Yeah, they were probably the weirdest thing about hair metal in the '80s, because in no way, shape, or form were they hair metal, but that's the only people who listened to them were hair metal fans. Bizarre. I mean, it's softer than most soft rock. It's yacht rock, really. But the metalheads loved it. So,
And you know what? They sold millions upon millions upon millions of records.
and lots of people watched Murder, She Wrote. What's your point?
I remember I watched Murder, She Wrote when I was a kid. My grandma loved it. I'd sit in the living room with her and we'd watch Murder, She Wrote and just have a great time. What's wrong
That's
with Murder, She Wrote?
child abuse.
Murder, She Wrote, followed by the Golden Girls. That was a good time. Good time with Mima.
What was that? What did you call your grandmother?
Mima.
That's just gobbledygook right there. That's not language.
Yeah, just Mima.
Okay.
But good to see you, Lauren. Hope you're doing well.
I'm doing very well.
Good. That's good to hear. That's good to hear.
Okay.
Good to hear. Also joining me tonight, making his very first appearance, we've got some new blood joining us on this patron stream. Swaggy G. Swaggy, are you there?
I'm here, Piz. How are you?
I'm doing very well. And I got to tell you, that profile picture definitely is Swaggy. You know, you got the suit on, you got the sunglasses on. You're living up to your name. That's for sure.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. How's everything going in your world?
Well, I'm in Georgia, and this is the first time I've ever done anything like this.
Nice. I'm from Georgia also. Good to see you here.
You two may be the only ones in Georgia that have mastered the technology. Just kidding.
But yeah, I'm glad to see you here tonight, Swaggy, and yeah, definitely, welcome to the stream.
Thanks for doing it.
Right on. And also joining me tonight, we have got Christian, Hannah, Hara. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? Glad to be here.
Doing very well. Hanging out, shooting the bull. And yeah, how's everything going with you?
Going good. I'm doing good, man.
I know
everything's going good.
I know you're busy now with your, the you need a candles. You guys are selling those things like hotcakes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Can't keep them in stock.
Mm.
You know?
I was lucky enough to get the Friday the 13th candles during your last sale. I managed to get all of them before they sold out. So
yeah, good deal. I appreciate that. You'll like them. They're great. They're great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right on. Yeah, very cool. And I see is that the shirt? Is that Sharpan Teddy or
Sharpan Joe?
Sharpan Joe. Okay.
Sharpan Joe.
Good old Sharpan Joe.
That's the movie I really want. Sharpan Joe.
Well, if they can't get the if they can't get the rights, that may be the title of the next,
I mean, I hear he's going for a lot of money these days.
Yeah. Joe Kruger. So
yeah.
Oh goodness. But thank you all for joining me tonight. Yeah. Let's dive right in. Also Alexis, who's in the chat tonight, she attempted to join, but hopefully she'll be able to join us for the next one. So, but have you fellas seen any good movies lately?
Resurrection. It's not just good, it's fantastic, I think.
Okay.
Actually. One of the best of the year and gets under your skin.
That one's on my list. That stars the lady
Rebecca Hall.
Rebecca
Yeah.
Hall. Yeah,
Night House, yes.
very very good actress.
Yeah, it's a tense movie for sure. And one I rarely have time to watch movies twice
Mhm.
because I just review so much. And I watched that one twice because there's certain things you kind of miss, certain things up for interpretation. It's really, really good. I'd say she's even better than she was in Night House, and I didn't think that'd be possible.
Good. That's cool. That's good to know. Resurrection's on my list. I just haven't had a chance to check it out yet.
Yes, yes.
What about the two newest movies that have opened? Anybody get out to see Beast or The Invitation?
I saw Beast. That shows the enthusiasm for Invitation. Even I haven't seen Invitation. That's how bad that one is. Beast is exactly what you'd expect it to be. It's Idris Elba fighting a lion for 90 minutes. I think the hand-to-hand combat with it went on a little bit too long, and it was a little bit hard to swallow. But if that's appealing to you, it's entertaining. The lion's not as bad as it could have looked, for sure. It's better than the CG and Prey, but yeah, tangling with the lion, people doing a lot of stupid things. But
I've heard several people say on social media that like he punches the lion in the face.
He punches the lion in the face to get him off of him. Yes.
Really?
Wow.
Yes.
That's
totally accurate.
That's probably, I wouldn't recommend that, but you know, when you're in the heat of the moment with fighting a lion, you got to do what you got to do, right?
Well, at that point, how many options do you have?
That is true.
It went with sharks, so why not lion?
Only for zombies, though, Mike. Can't fight a shark off any other way.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. But yeah, The Invitation, that's a weird one because I've
already seen a movie called The Invitation. I think. Is there another one?
There's several.
Yeah, there's a few.
Is there no rule about that? How many movies can have the same name?
You can't copyright a title.
Yeah, and some of them are good under that title. What I heard about Invitation, anybody that saw the commercial knows that it's a vampire movie, but that's not revealed until like over halfway through the actual movie. So it's one of these things where apparently it gives away almost everything in the trailer.
The trailer spoiled everything is what I've even like the makers of the film I heard were very upset with the trailer.
Yeah.
So yeah, the big reveal, it was supposed to be one of those movies, I think, like, you know, Fresh, where it starts out as one movie, then halfway through it abruptly shifts to another kind of movie. Only in the trailer they said it's a vampire movie.
Yeah, like it could have been a cult, it could have been all sorts of different things, could have been a Ready or Not scenario. But no, they had to tell you exactly what the twist was. So I'll see it, but I don't
They're
care.
leaving no stone unturned before you go into the cinema. That's all it is. It's due diligence.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to like make sure that, you know what I mean.
Well, it was cheaper to just put it in the trailer than to send a personal letter to every Hot Topic buying 13-year-old girl in America.
Never change, Lauren. Never change.
Yeah, and Jonathan has joined us. Jonathan, how are you, sir?
I'm well. How is
Very
everyone?
good.
Have you recovered from the incident?
Which incident?
There's so many.
Oh, okay. Well,
I thought you were gonna have something better than that, Lauren. Damn it! I was so
Yeah, I did
excited.
too.
For this
I was
joke.
like-
what happened?
The dry humor doesn't work if you explain it.
Son of a bitch.
But yeah, I think the studio was just like,
Did you call my mother?
I think the
What were you
studio
saying,
just
Fizz?
decided. I think the studio just decided we need to market this thing somehow. So let's just tell everybody it's a vampire movie. So hopefully people who like vampire
Right.
movies will go and watch it. And
Right.
there you go. And nobody's going to watch it. So and from
Right.
what I've heard, it's not very good.
Well,
Yeah.
they'll get the Tubi ads when that comes out on streaming, so that's where they'll recoup their money.
That's where they'll recoup their money. Yeah. and that's where I'll see it, is when it hits Tubi.
It's
Man,
Tubi.
It'd be that
When you
same
get to
progressive commercial 8 times.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
when you get to
yeah.
that section in the middle where you see like you've got 5 ads coming, good God.
See
Yeah.
the super old the really old movies that I watch, they only throw like 1 or 2 ads at you. That's it, you know.
Mm.
You know what I
Also-
want to happen? This is a brilliant idea.
Oh no.
Tubi, if you're watching, I want Tubi movie theaters where you don't pay to go to see the movie. You go to the movie theater, and during the movie, ads play.
Wait a
So
second.
you can go and
Christian.
take a piss, get yourself something to eat, and then by the time you get back, the Dove soap commercials are over. Piss, do you see where I'm going with this? Can
I'm
you go
on-
to a Tubi branded
Replace
movie
the
theater?
dollar
Commercials they play
theaters.
before the movie, and he wants to add more.
I actually like that idea
It's brilliant.
because I can get up and go to the
And piss.
bathroom
Exactly.
and not be
Refill the
afraid I'm going to miss
popcorn.
anything. Exactly.
How do we
Drink
not have a
refill?
monitor on the urinal now playing ads? I feel like that's coming. It's a little
And
screen
motion
there.
detected, so only when your cock comes out does the movie start.
You can piss on Nicole Kidman, Lauren. There's my pitch for that.
No,
Yeah.
because some
Come on,
people like
Tubi.
that, and that's not. I don't want people spending that much
Tubi
time.
movie theater.
I think that might be what saves movie theaters is you have to like coin operated
Watching
urinals. You know,
There you go.
Well, guess what? There better be slippery floor signs everywhere because people are just going to start taking a piss anywhere if you try to charge them to go to the bathroom.
they do that
This looks like a
already in
good
the
spot to
theaters.
piss right here. You know,
They do that already in the theaters around here, man.
Jesus, I ain't moving
So-
over. Damn, I'm not going to the theater over there. Do I need to wear boots? Do I need to wear rain boots?
Yeah, you gotta wear-
Smells like popcorn and asparagus all over the place.
Oh, Jesus. Jesus Christ.
I have no idea what asparagus smells like.
Ah,
Like piss.
yeah.
I don't know what this
He
smells
doesn't
like.
he doesn't know what that smells like either. Has anybody else seen any Mike, have you seen anything good, bad, or been different lately?
Indifferently, nope. Jordan Peele's new movie, it's just left me totally, loved the first hour or so. I thought it was going somewhere different, somewhere interesting, and then the final act just left me like, is this it?
What movie did you say?
Nope.
Oh no, okay.
Yes. Yeah, I just left me totally.
I enjoyed it.
I was just totally indifferent to the film. I mean, I love Us for all the flaws because Us does kind of have, it does leave a lot of questions unanswered, but I still love the film. I love Get Out.
Yeah,
But
I
this
love
was
Oz
just-
too.
Have you ever
Nope.
seen more beautifully shot nighttime scenes than in Nope?
I have actually. Spookies. The nighttime scenes were just
What the
God
hell are
Almighty.
you talking
Piz, can you help? Piz is not laughing right now. He understands what I'm saying.
Now what was it? I'm sorry.
No, he-
Jesus, son of a bitch! Come on, Piz.
I'm sorry.
That was your moment.
I'm sorry. I got a message I was reading and I totally I
No, it's
apologize.
over now. He was saying the
apologize.
nighttime scenes in Nope were beautiful, which I agree. They did look really good, but I said that Spookies had way better nighttime sequences.
That's true. That's true. The Spookies did.
So if I throw a spoiler alert out there, I'm going to throw a spoiler. So anybody that's watching this, if you haven't seen Nope, click off for just a second. Hold your
Cover your
ears.
ears.
Is it a purple people eater?
It's not.
It's a jellyfish.
It's a movie screen. That's what it is.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that until
The same way the monolith in 2001 is actually a movie screen. Yeah, that's what the movie's
Yeah.
called.
All right. Nope.
That's
Never
the real
mind. That's why the movie's called Nope, because when Lauren explains it to you, you go, no.
Okay, so
because you just don't want to admit that you missed it.
end of spoilers. But yeah, I saw Nope. Has everybody here seen Nope?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Swaggy, have you seen Nope?
nope.
I have not seen that.
Okay. I watched it just the other day. I liked it, but I also liked Us. But I think when you go in, if you expect anything to be explained to you, or if you expect there to be like some sort of resolution in the end, you're just not going to get it from I guess you're just not going to get that from a Jordan Peele movie, and that's okay. That's fine with me. What little bit of explanation we got for us was just kind of,
but it worked,
it seemed it didn't really work for me, but it seemed insignificant because I liked everything up to that point. So I mean, I think he just has these very ambitious ideas, and when it comes to like, okay, how do we cap this thing? He's like, it'll just blow up, or she was part of the underground all along, you know. So, but I like, you know, I've liked everything that he's done. I think Nope might be my favorite movie of his. But yeah, I mean, there's, you know.
No, that's the sequel. Yeah.
Yes. I think the thing is, he's trying to make thematic films rather than hard plot films, and there's a certain part of the audience that's just not going to do it, you know, and if the others will not care and they'll just go with the ride, which is, I think, a lot of people were able to do with Us, because Us doesn't make any sense if you really actually break it down for a second, but it's gorgeous and it's trying to impart a truth rather than a story, and Us is the same kind of deal. If you expect a traditional climax to any of his films, you're kind of looking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
They're more like Twilight Zone episodes, really, which is ironic.
Really are.
He couldn't pull off Twilight Zone proper, but his films do.
There was a couple episodes of that Twilight Zone remake that were pretty good.
Yeah, I hear later, but he also, at least at the beginning, they were hour-long episodes.
That
I
first
think that
one-
was a mistake. That first one was terrible. The comedian.
The Terror at like 30,000 feet or whatever. That remake,
Yeah,
they did that. They that was a good spin on that story.
Yeah, I think they were too long, and that was
The
part of the
comedian
problem.
was boring as hell. That was
Yeah, it was
another
an hour long.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't work, because Twilight Zone is timeless. That's like the one like thing I can even show like my nieces, nephews. That still works beautifully. It's perfect.
It is. It's perfect.
It's funny when you hire someone like Richard Matheson to write a television show, you end up with something timeless. Who would think?
100%. I know people they've come out on Blu-ray that are diving into Night Gallery for the first time.
I love Night Gallery,
and they're falling in love with it. It's amazing.
Night Gallery is.
It's not shot as well as Twilight Zone, but they were adapting all kinds of great stories from the 30s through the 70s, and it all worked.
Right.
Yeah.
All of it worked. Mm-hmm. That's the thing too. Like, you do an anthology series. The first season of Creepshow did this. Take existing short stories and adapt them. Don't do originals. There's enough great short stories that have already been like tested by audiences because they exist and they're awesome.
Yeah.
Don't try and write original stuff. It just doesn't. It usually doesn't work.
This is more obscure, and I know you'll know what it is, Lauren, but Severin is putting out a Blu-ray of the Spanish series Tales to Keep You Awake, which was an anthology series, and there's adaptations from Block, Bradbury. It's so cool that they're putting that out, because all that stuff holds up so well.
But where's my darkroom set?
Maybe you'll get it.
I have it.
Well, I didn't mean literally the one I made.
but here's the good news, Lauren. Freddy's Nightmares television series is getting a Blu-ray release.
I'm gonna not watch the hell out of that.
But it's coming out on Blu-ray. I can't imagine Blu-ray doing anything for it, but it's coming out on Blu-ray.
It wasn't shot on film, so I can't imagine.
But it's coming out in physical form.
Yeah, that's good. I support that. Listen,
So.
If it puts money in the genre coffers and gets people to maybe take chances on other things, cool.
Yeah. The other Flesh Wound Features guys did a retrospective on all the Freddy's Nightmares, but I said nope to that. I didn't do it.
Nope.
So not a fan. But Friday the 13th, the series, if you've never check that out.
I still gotta get on that.
Oh,
First two
John.
seasons are amazing. Third season has its good points too. It's just the cast is not as good once you
Yeah,
leave.
it doesn't fall apart totally, but yeah, those first 2 seasons, that's about the best TV you could ever hope for.
The vampire time travel episode is freaking amazing and done
Yeah.
with no money.
Roundhouse kick it.
Yeah, and the Cronenberg episode obviously is pretty amazing. The Scarecrow episode, the Doll episode, the Mirror episode. Those are all like fantastic television.
Watch some of that over this Halloween season, and you're in for a treat. It drove me crazy when I was younger. The people's like, there's no Jason in that, and I don't want to watch it.
Oh man, that's why I wouldn't watch it forever.
I know that I had that conversation.
They
with
would run it
1,000
on
people.
Sci-Fi all the time. And
Friday's Curse is what they called it overseas.
Yeah,
and you can get it you can get the whole thing cheap.
$30.
Yeah. So I mean, you can get all 3
I
seasons.
have the whole series.
The soundtrack's good too. The gentleman that did part 8 did it. Fred Mullen, I think.
Fred
He's
Mullen, yeah.
Very, very good. Very good score. The theme is great.
Graham.
Jess is with us tonight. Jess, what's up, buddy?
What's up?
You know this next
I
panel.
saw all these great people on.
You'll know this next panelist from Phil of the Future.
Yes, he's a Nickelodeon star, and he was holding out on us. Never heard that.
Not true. Not true. But
You were the bully, Jess. Come on.
Wait a minute.
I
Jess was on a Nickelodeon show?
He was on a Disney Channel show.
Yes, he was the mean kid at like 28.
At 25.
they're making it
playing
sound
middle
like it was a
schooler.
bigger part than it was. It was a featured extra role, mainly on Phil of the Future on Disney.
That's awesome.
That's so cool, Jess.
That's still pretty cool, man.
You were almost
Oh,
the
thank you.
bully, Jess.
I was.
Well, how have you been, Jess?
Been pretty good, Piz. Thank you. Yeah, good to see you. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Have you seen any good movies lately?
Nothing new. Nothing new to brag
Yeah.
about.
Top shelf.
Watching a lot of old comfort stuff. Don't hit me, Lauren.
You get battery sold. I sold a grill. Yeah, Maceo.
If I drop this, will it hit him?
Warren just happens to be holding a wrench.
And I just hit myself in the fucking leg with it.
Let me bring Swaggy into the conversation. Swaggy, have you seen anything good lately?
Oh yeah, I've seen about 5 things, and they're a little bit all over the place. So the first thing I got is The Wizard of Gore.
The Wizard of Gore. Okay.
Going back to the 70s.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
Those are good, actually.
Yeah, it really surprised me. It had a good premise. I finally watched Black Phone,
Oh, the Black Phone. Okay.
and I was a little disappointed. It was good, but not great. Maybe that's bad to say, but
It's like the best, shittiest movie ever, right?
I think it was just I think it was a little bit overhyped.
Yeah, more than a little, I'd say. It has its moments, but yeah. It's weird this year. It's an amazing year, but theatrical, not so much overall, anyways. For me, it's been foreign films, indie films, things debuting on Shudder that have really kind of kicked my ass this year overall. So far, Barbarian looks good though. I think that might be out this coming weekend. I believe
Barbarian.
Thursday, I think, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that looks good.
That one's flown under my radar here.
I hear good things.
You probably saw the trailer at Nope, I would imagine.
A woman staying at an Airbnb discovers that the house she has rented is not what it seems. Oh, it's got Bill Skarsgård in it, Justin Long, Richard Brake.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that called?
Barbarian.
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 Mm-hmm.
Cool.
does anyone get the horror magazine Rue Morgue?
Yeah. Yeah, I collect those.
It was reviewed in Rue Morgue.
Yeah, they do a little page segment about basically black and white movies.
Uh-huh.
And there was one that I watched called Meal of the Stone Women. You ever?
Yes.
movie. It's on Blu-ray now.
I've seen that.
Yeah, I think it was out in the Italian.
Called Meal of the Stone Women.
Yeah. Shudder had it at some point. I don't know if it's still up there for anybody that wants to check it out.
I'm adding this to my list. Meal of the Stone Woman.
That's a good magazine too. They're not priced bad either.
Yeah, well, they're a lot better than their major competition in cover price, right?
Yeah. Is there another magazine similar to that?
There's one with a lot more history that goes back to 1979, but you have to mortgage your house for a subscription. So
Yeah, it's gotten high, unfortunately.
Jeremy's a big fan of Rue Morgue. He likes Horrorhound. He likes Rue. I think Rue Morgue is his favorite, actually.
It's good.
So
it's still the best of the current print, I think.
I had to unsubscribe from Fangoria's emails because they were literally, I would receive 10 emails a day.
And they were all obnoxiously titled. Yeah.
Yes. I had to Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I was really sad when they went
Jesus
away.
Christ. Wow,
that was my reaction every time one would pop up. It's like, oh God, just flooding my
Could you
inbox.
imagine like Joel Osteen buys Fangoria?
Yeah.
Chris has joined us. Slasher Home Video. How you doing, sir?
What's up, guys? Pretty good. How about y'all?
Doing good, man. How's it going?
Good.
Hanging in there?
Oh yeah. I'm glad the Halloween season's here. 2 days, it's officially Halloween for me.
The beginning of September. Yes.
It's usually a few weeks longer for me, Chris. I try to push it to October 1st, but I never make it. I start celebrating maybe mid-September.
Shit.
I start feeling it like before summer hits usually, but I hold off until September.
Yeah.
I need it. I need that. I need fall because I'm tired of this heat. I'm ready for fall. But
the mosquitoes, dude. Mosquitoes have been ridiculous lately.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in Georgia. Like, if I walk out that door right now, I'll come back with like 10 bites. It's insane.
I'm surprised for me
like
they haven't
4
been
at a
bad
time
this year.
sometimes, dude.
Chris or Christian, have you guys seen anything good lately?
You want to go, Chris? You want me to go or?
Well, you can go. I might think. I know I've seen some stuff, but
okay. I never got a chance to talk to you guys about it before, but I think Men's probably my favorite movie I've seen this year. I think that movie is phenomenal. I loved it. Yeah. I thought it had some of the best acting I'd ever seen. God damn it, that movie's good.
Piz, you like Men too, right?
I like the movie. Yeah, I like the movie.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, it was like you said, the acting in it is phenomenal.
There's no good way to say it, Jess.
Somebody had to.
I like Men. Is that what you want, Jess Graham? The hell's wrong with you, Jess Graham?
Somebody
Disney Channel, son of a bitch.
Somebody clip that.
God damn it, Jess Graham. Trying to have an adult conversation here. You're gonna ruin it.
I know.
No, for real though, I did like that movie a lot, and I just watched Crimes of the Future last night.
Oh yeah.
I don't know about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I gotta watch it a couple more times. I don't know. It's my favorite David Cronenberg film I've ever seen.
I don't think it'll be anybody's favorite, but I did like it.
To me, Men is like whoever's making those movies. That's to me like that's this era's David Cronenberg-esque type director. That to me that is more on level with what I think audiences kind of want. I thought Crimes of the Future was just weird. Not weird in a bad way, because Men's weird, but like the timing of it was dark. I gotta watch it a couple more times. I don't know. It's
the problem with. I'm sorry, I'm echoing. You know what the problems with Crimes of the Future really is? There's no point of view character. He denied us that character that sees the events through our normal eyes. Everyone in that film is involved in the plot and in that world. And I think like James Woods in Videodrome, right, comes from the outside, and then he gets put into that world so we can see it from kind of a rational point of view.
Mhm.
Where scanners like Stephen Lack, yes, he's a scanner, but he doesn't really know what that is. And so he gets put into this big conspiracy and this warring factions of the psychic war. We need that point of view character, and that's what I think Crimes of the Future is missing. And I think the film could be instantly relatable to every Cronenberg fan, the same way his classics are, if he had just given us a character that wasn't complete batshit nuts future psycho. But there's a lot. But I got to say, I dug it. It's still on my top 10 of the year, but it's number 9, and I fear that in a couple movies it's going to fall off. If it does, it does. No favorites here at Cronenberg. I love. I'm doing a piece on him for my channel. But yeah, it's lesser Cronenberg. But you want to know what? Lesser Cronenberg is still pretty amazing in my book.
Yeah, and naturally, I'm gonna be way more harsh on it than like stuff coming out today because it is David. But I'll watch it again.
I think it's way better than Existence, which I think is a film that looks like its time and kind of doesn't know what to do with itself.
Right.
So it's not on the bottom quartile for me, but it's definitely lower middle, I guess, of the. But you talk about a catalog that includes stuff like The Brood and Scanners and Videodrome and The Fly and Dead Ringers. I mean, what are we talking?
He's never made a bad movie, as far as I'm concerned.
No, he's never made something that I would actively push people away from watching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even something like M Butterfly, which is not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Or Crash. I think Crash is probably my least favorite Cronenberg film.
Oh,
And
really?
Me
I
too.
love Crash.
Me too.
Oh god, I love Crash.
Me too.
But I still think it's well worth investigating whether you're going to like it or not, because it's not a bad film in any way.
Y'all
It's
can
just
have
one that I
Crash.
did not connect with.
Yeah,
I
y'all can
think
have that.
I think Lauren was just, the content of that film just kind of upset him a little bit.
But well, there's plenty of other car films that I like more.
I was telling somebody about Crash the other day, and I was like, at the end of it, they get in this horrible car crash, and they crawl into this ditch and just start making love. And they're like, "And you like that?" I said, "I love it."
I'd like Crimes of the Future more than Crash. Crash is my least favorite David Cronenberg movie. Absolute least favorite. My wife was like, "Take this shit out of here. I don't want to watch." She hated it.
Oh yeah, I tried
That's
to
my
watch it with
least
my
favorite
wife
one.
too. She looked at me a little weird.
I'd probably watch Crash again before I watched Existence, though. So that's kind of the rub. Like, sometimes what's watchable is different from what you like, and that's a weird thing, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know.
I am gonna. We've got somebody else in the green room here. I'm gonna pull Swaggy. I'm gonna pull you out momentarily so I can add in Aaron. How you doing, Aaron?
No, leave the cat.
We can't hear you, man.
Hey, I think you can have 10 people in here too, by the way. I think that's the limit, but you can have 10.
Can I? Oh yeah, I can. I'm sorry, Swaggy. I thought I could only have 9. We've got a full house tonight. Holy crap!
Yeah.
Yeah, thank y'all for joining. Yeah, it's awesome. Well, let me while Aaron's working on his audio, I do want to.
Before you move on,
Okay, go ahead.
I did see a really great film that no one out there is going to watch. It's called Dubara. It is an Indian remake of the Spanish film Mirage, which is not a great film, but they managed to make a friggin' great film out of it. And that's like kind of what we always say that remakes should be doing. So here's your example. It's not horror, but it feels like a horror movie. It's actually more of a dramatic sci-fi film. The title translates to Second Time, and it's about a woman who, during a freak thunderstorm, sees a video of a boy from years earlier who has died after witnessing a murder. And through actions she takes, manages to stop that from happening. So you end up with 2 separate stories happening in 2 different timelines and how they cross over. It's a really cool film. It stars the great Tappsy Panu, who of course starred in Game Over, and I didn't think I would find another performance as good as she was in Game Over, but she's just as good in this. It's a really cool movie. Yes, you're gonna have subtitles, but man up and actually deal with it because it's a great little film. It's definitely it's higher than Crimes of the Future on my end of the year list. So
Where can we see that, Lauren?
I think it's coming to Z and Amazon in I think December.
Okay.
I was lucky enough to see it theatrically. It's out of theaters now, but please check it out. You'll really have a good time with it. It's nuts, and that's something you'll rarely can say about cinema. I mean, although both Men and Crimes of the Future are both nuts too, but this is definitely worth your time.
Now, I've watched 2 films from India, that Lauren has recommended. One was I really loved, and the other one I did not. Psycho 2020.
Yep.
Loved it. And then the other one, I can't even think of the name, and I hated it.
So you're batting 50-50 with
Yes,
Jess.
sir.
Indian.
Yep.
I was going to say hello to Griff, who's watching over on Twitch. Griff, how you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. We've also got Vince McMahon in the chat, wondering if anybody can loan him some cash.
Sure, how much?
Vince, just hit me up. Hit me up on social media. I'll float you a few bucks. I want to float this topic to everybody out there. And I promise you, I'm not going to talk about Halloween Ends, but I'm going to use it to springboard into the real topic here. We've all heard at this point, I'm sure, that Halloween Ends is going day and date now on Peacock, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is anybody else concerned that movie theaters are quickly becoming the video stores of or that they're going to have the same fate as the video store? It seems to me like we've all been concerned about streaming killing physical media. It seems to me like streaming is going to kill theaters sooner than physical media. The Regal, the company that owns Regal, is filing for bankruptcy. What theaters survived the pandemic seem to be struggling now. Are we seeing the end of movie theaters as we know it? What do you all say? Let me start with go ahead, Dan. Dive in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't think so. There's going to be a lot of reorganizing. I truly thought during the pandemic that movie theaters might die. I was in a very bad mental space with that because it's a different experience going to the theaters until there's a way to simulate that giant screen in your home. It's not the same. I mean, we all have great TVs, great sound systems now, but it's not the same experience whatsoever. I think they will survive. In fact, I think a lot of this day and date stuff is gonna start going away. The binge model now is starting to die because they've realized that doesn't work out so well. I think that new Game of Thrones series that's airing now, I believe, is back to just the traditional once a week. So I don't know. I don't think it's going to kill it, but certainly there's still a lot of pain being felt from the lockdowns kind of going on forever. But my theaters they're crowded for the right movies. Like, they're not ghost towns by any means, but they do need to keep moving towards a premium experience now. I think old school theaters now, we're all spoiled. We all want the recliners.
Mm-hmm.
I think better food options, which a lot are kind of starting to do that. Being able to have the alcohol served at your seat, once again, spoiled. I don't know. My AMC, you have to get that out at the bar. I figured, like I said, just more premium options, and I think theaters are going to survive. Physical media, I'm not as confident, but theaters, I think, will survive.
What do you think, Mike?
Speaking from a UK's perspective, Cineworld, which I always, to my I always thought Cineworld was a UK company, but understanding now it's a US company, but they have cinemas in the UK, and they are in grave danger of going under in the UK. That's all I know. Yeah, COVID just decimated the cinema going experience in the UK. The UK now is under massive hardships with energy prices. The war in Russia, with the Russian war in Ukraine, has pushed energy prices in the UK to like sky high levels, where it's to the point now where gas and electricity prices are just so high. The average man and woman on the street is not going to be going to the cinema. Simple as that. Me on my wage cannot afford to go to the cinema. There's just no way. If this goes on for the next couple of years, it's going to have a massive impact. And I mean, I don't think people don't really care. I mean, we care about the cinema experience, but the powers that be, for me, regard cinemas as just something that can be disposed of. It's not important to them, the people in power. So I can't speak for America. I mean, I think there's always going to be a place for that sort of like IMAX experience, but I think mainstream cinemas in the UK, I'm simply stating for the UK, not America, but in the UK, that mainstream cinema experience, like that Cineworld, basic experience, I think it's on its way out.
Well, you make an interesting point, because I think one of the things the movie theaters, at least in my area, have tried to do to bounce back from that entire year that they were closed was to raise the prices of everything. And then on top of that, you have inflation here in the US. You had gas prices, in some places $5-6 a gallon. I mean, going to the movies is, 4 people going to the movies is $100 out of your pocket. That's an expensive endeavor to go watch a movie. And I think you have to, that's why, and I think a lot of people are looking like, well, what's Rotten Tomatoes say about this movie? You know what I mean? If Rotten Tomatoes says this isn't a good movie, then I'm not going to go. It's like you're rolling dice. You know what I mean? You're taking a gamble, and the gamble's higher and higher.
A-list, I think, helps with that. The movie passes, stuff like A-list. Yeah. I can see 3 movies a week, $20 a month. There's not a whole lot else you'll do for that kind of money nowadays. So it's
$21 for my Regal Pass. I can see as unlimited films. I could go see them film every breathing moment.
Yeah, what beats that? Like, you're not going to do anything for $20 like that.
Is Regal going to be around?
Yes. Bankruptcy protection does not mean you're swirling the drain at all.
It certainly doesn't mean you're raking in cash.
Well, it means you got to regroup at the very least.
It just means that your money is not structured in a way that meets your business needs, and you need the leeway to restructure. If you want to look at the companies that have filed for bankruptcy that have survived, it's a way longer list than the numbers that have gone out of business. In fact, not filing for protection is a quicker way to out of business by far.
Can the theaters sustain themselves at their current? Dan brought up an interesting point. There has to be a premium. You can't just go there and drop all this money on a movie that may suck. And somebody in the chat brought up an interesting point too, that there's not a lot of good movies to go watch. And there's not a lot of those kind of big marquee titles that are drawing people to the theaters. There's not. When was the last event movie?
Question for Laura. Why is Halloween Kills? Why is Halloween Ends? Sorry, why is Halloween Ends premiering on Peacock the same day as going in cinemas. Like,
I mean, I
what
don't
is
know
the
the
business?
I don't know the spread on the film, but an educated guess would be that the way films pay out to their producer class down to down the ladder is they probably have figured out this film is extremely front loaded. So those producers who get paid last probably push very hard for this because they'll get money faster. They'll recoup their initial investment a lot faster. This is a business decision based on their confidence in the film. I know no one wants to hear that, but that's the truth. Now, Halloween Ends is going to make money. So anyone out there who reads what I just said as, oh, it's going to fail, is out of their mind. But you have to understand there's expectations when these investors are not like just a dentist down the street. This is their livelihood, and they build their portfolios on an expectation of return. And when they start to see bumps in the road, when the real test audiences are not coming back strong, when the leaked plot details are not well received across the internet, when they're starting to get a theater backlash, yeah, you find other ways to make money fast because you've got to take that money and put it into something this year or in the next 12 months that's going to make you money that you're not going to make on this project. But, the big thing, though, about theaters, whether they survive or not, is that we're missing the point in this conversation. Theaters are going to have to change. This isn't the first time they've changed their business model. In the 70s, there weren't commercials before your film. Oh, my God. You went in and saw a few free trailers, and then your movie played. The business model changes and evolves. And right now, the business model is broken for the entertainment class that they're giving to their customers. Like any business, you don't offer the McRib year round or else it's not a popular item, but you bring it back once a year and it sells out. They got to find what makes sense. I think that something like the A-List or the Regal Unlimited Pass is a big part of the solution. Is it sustainable? I don't know. Movie Pass certainly wasn't, although they're trying again. I think they just need to figure it out. I think part of it is bundling too. Like if you could buy a pass, but you could also add $10 a month and that got you popcorn and a drink every time you went to the theater. So now you're paying $30 a month, but you're also getting your popcorn and soda. You're adding value. And popcorn and soda cost pennies to the theater.
Yeah.
So I think there's still a lot of business opportunity for the savvy movie theaters. And they're not just going to go out of business instead of changing. They will change before they just throw up their hands in disgust and walk away.
What can they, but what would, who here is going to the theater less and less these days? Okay. So, Christian, what could your local theater do to improve itself to the point where you want to go, you have the opportunity to watch whatever movie you want on the streaming service that you're already subscribed to in the comfort of your own home with your own drinks, your own snacks. What can your local theater do to persuade you to come there instead of watching the movie at home?
Tell the production companies and studio owners to stop putting the shit on streaming at the same time, because nothing is going to equate being at my house. I don't care what you put in that theater. I'm just saying. It's like, is it our fault that theaters are dying, or the theater's fault as much as Paramount or Universal? I mean, Paramount, they put Top Gun in theater. You couldn't see it anywhere else. How much money did that movie make? I know it was a Tom Cruise film, but you couldn't see it anywhere else. Why didn't they just put Orphan's First Kill in a goddamn theater? And everybody's going to stream it. I streamed it. I'm not going to the theater to see it if I can see it at home. As a consumer, my job is to get the best, the most convenient thing for me possible. Bottom line. So stop putting the shit on streaming and going to in the theater at the same time, because I'm like the average person. I'd rather watch it at home where I can take a piss and pause it. Give me the ability to pause a movie in the theater. That's how you'll get me to go. Or make the Tubi theaters. I think it's a novel idea.
What do you think, Chris? How can your local theater persuade you to visit more often?
Well, I think Christian's right. I mean, a lot of it isn't the people or the companies, it's the studios. Am I frozen up?
It caught up.
No,
It caught
man.
up.
Okay. But yeah, it's not like it's the studio's fault. They don't, the same way they're killing physical media a little bit, they're not licensing these things out and trying to get disc pressed. I'm not gonna go see something if there's a question whether it's good or not and I can watch it at home. It has to be a pretty big movie for me to get out to the theater anyway. And like I'm gonna go see Halloween Ends at the theater. Something like Malignant, just as an example. But like Orphan First Kill, I'm not gonna go to the theater to see that. I would have waited till home video to watch it. So, I mean,
I would have gone to the theater to see Orphan First Kill, but I'm not when I can see it at home.
yeah. Well, I might be a bad example because I'm less likely to go to theaters. I don't go.
That's all I
like
did
every
before
movie.
streaming, man. All I did was go to the theater. It's what all of us did.
Well, see, I waited till home video. I was like Randy, I guess.
Now, Christian and the rest of you guys, do you think like if the studios waited even 30 days before they released it on streaming, wouldn't that make a big difference?
There has to be that window where it's only theatrical. There has to be that window. But I'll give you that, but I'll raise you this. You have to make good movies. There's been one movie this year that I've wanted to go watch in the theater. And I went and watched it. One movie, and it's September, 9 months into this year. One movie I've wanted to go see in the theater.
That's pretty bad. Yeah.
But to Christian's point, Top Gun Maverick was only available in theater. That's the only place you could see it, right? Number 6 domestic of all time. It last week went over Avengers Infinity War, and this coming week it's going over Black Panther. I mean, it's going to be in the top 5 of all time. A whole lot of people, $691 million worth of people went to go see the film. So to his point, make people go. If you built a big enough draw for a film and it has good enough word of mouth, it's still a successful formula. But I do think price is very important. I think the passes are a part of the future. I think bundling is part of the future. And I think that if you make the risk so low, I'm already paying my subscription for this month. Why don't I go see Orphan First Kill? Sure.
I'd love to see the return of old school double features. That would be great. Particularly a couple smaller horror films.
I need a
Price of
smoking
One.
section if I'm watching a double feature.
We have a drive-in nearby that still does.
Yeah.
it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mike.
Can anybody?
I'm good.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Can anybody explain why Nope? Why Nope was shown premiered 2 weeks later in the UK than America? Because the UK and America usually are on par with cinema releases. So when Nope premiered in the UK, it had already been torrented online in HD through American releases. And I don't understand the logic of letting a movie of that significance delay for 2 weeks for the UK audience. Because literally at the point where it went live in UK cinemas, HD copies had started to appear online. And I went to the cinema to support the film because I'm a fan of Jordan Peele. But there's a hell of a lot of people in the UK who couldn't give two shits about Jordan Peele or the film and just want to watch the movie. But they may have paid to go and see the movie on day one release. It just seems a very, very strange decision to make. For a movie of that significance, to delay by 2 weeks from the American release, that is just another strange decision that doesn't make any sense to me in terms of trying to keep cinemas alive. I just don't understand.
No, I understand. I do want to make a correction. Alexis brings this up. I actually wanted to see 2 movies in the theaters this year. One was X, and the other was The Northman. So those were the 2 movies I really wanted to see in the theaters this year. Let me bring Aaron in. I think Aaron, you got your audio figured out.
I think so. Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Am I too loud or too soft or what?
You're just fine. You're just fine.
Great.
Yeah. One of the movies I'm anticipating is Pearl, and I'm definitely gonna go to the theater to see that one.
Yeah.
And Halloween, of course. Already got a bunch of friends lined up so we can all go on that Saturday. I hope the movie experience doesn't go away, because to me, I remember going to like the drive-in as a kid with my father, and it was always an experience. And I hope that never goes away, because even I've got a drive-in. I'm lucky enough to have a drive-in down the road from me, and I took my kid to see Jurassic Park and Ghostbusters double feature, and he's 13, and he absolutely loved it. So I got to experience that with him.
Nice.
I just hope that keeps going for future generations, or just that experience of seeing the movie for the first time, opening night, and there's that feeling of just the excitement. I don't think you can reproduce that at home. So I don't know. I hope it doesn't go away.
Yeah. How can they improve the experience? What would be your
I do agree with don't bring them out at the same time. There has to be, because that's too enticing to people, especially if you're already paying for the streaming service. Some people pay for the streaming service just for that convenience of having big budget movies appear day one and they're at home. It is kind of nice sitting at home though, and not having to worry about people on their cell phones or getting up in front of you or walking in front of you. So it is nice, that part of it, but that's part of it too, being at the theater. But I don't know. Bring out better movies, like you said. There's been very few movies that I've seen at the theater. I'm more choosy about how many I go to, because the price is higher and things like that. I mean, all of those things culminate into how often I'm going to go. Those are all, I don't know. There's a lot of things. And as far as like movie theaters dying, I think a lot of companies get so many, like businesses just don't die in a day. It's a long process, and they get so many chances and bailouts and things that other companies buy them up, and then they restart, and sometimes they even go stronger because they get benefits from filing bankruptcy and a parent company buying them, having more assets and things like that. So I don't see it like dying overnight. It would be a long process before that happens. Just my thoughts.
I think we need the voice of reason in on this conversation. Jonathan, try and make some sense out of this whole conundrum.
If I'm known for anything, it's being the voice of reason. No, I'm with Christian. Hit the nail on the head. Like, if you're going to offer it to me at my house, how could you expect me to leave? Like, how on earth could you expect? And as far as people saying, "Oh, it's not the same," we're getting pretty damn close. Yeah. Like, I mean, theaters started as a way to distribute films because you couldn't have a fucking projector in your house and a massive screen. I mean, you can relatively do the same thing at home today.
So relatively, it's still. I mean, you don't have a.
It's relative.
Godzilla in your house, though. Like, I do think there's a big difference.
All I'm saying is, no, it's not going to go immediately.
So, is watching a YouTube video on your 57-inch television of a roller coaster the same as going to the theme park?
No,
I also think it's more.
We're not going to play the logic game, Lauren. This thing and this to like.
It's not a right and wrong answer.
I don't agree with that though, because you're still sitting in a movie theater the way you sit at the house. On a roller coaster, you're on a fucking roller coaster.
I think all the experience on that.
Here's what I'm saying. No, the theater is going to change. You are going to see a lot of these. bundle and subscription models, which are going to keep them alive for a while. I think ultimately, at my age, in my lifetime, I will see the death of the movie theater. It's going to happen.
They've been talking about this since the 1950s with television.
Well, we've already seen film-related industries die within the last 2 decades, like that we never thought would.
Yeah, but those haven't been around as long as theaters too. Theaters.
Okay,
have been
well, the
around.
technology to replace them hasn't been around that long either.
I will trade. Listen, I will trade so you got the big wide IMAX screen, which is great. That's awesome. That's great. Can I sit in the theater in my underwear in front of the IMAX screen? No.
Once.
You can try.
One time.
Am I going to have to worry about some dickhead sitting in front of me with his date explaining the entire movie to her if I'm in my own home watching it? No. I can trade that. I can trade that.
Right. So
I've got an interesting question for you guys. Sorry, I've got an interesting question for you guys. How in miles? How close is your nearest big screen cinema? Mine's 2 miles away. If you live in a more rural area, if it's a 40-mile round trip, you're going to be more in favor of possibly going for that, streaming.
Yeah, mine's about 30 minutes away.
If you live in a big city, people who live in big cities, I live in a pretty big city. If you live in a big city, I don't think you can really appreciate people who live in more rural areas, the difficulty in getting to and from, it's just gas money, petrol money, whatever you want to call it. It's a bigger uptake. It's a bigger deal.
Dude,
it's not like I can just get in a taxi or get in a car. It's a 5-minute drive to a cinema. Well, a lot of you guys in the States who are like in more rural areas, I know how big the country is. It's a big deal just making a journey to a multiplex. And if you live in a big city, I don't think you can really appreciate sometimes just the.
I don't know. We have I don't live in a big
I'd
city
say
anymore, and we have a multiplex that's less than 2 miles away from me.
But also, think about this, especially kids' movies. Guys with kids, let me hear that opinion. Wrestling kids at the theater is a lot harder than plopping them down in front of the TV, ordering some pizza, which you can do because you have all this extra money because you didn't go to the theater.
So what about what? So I don't. But see, the thing is, like, you're throwing all these objections, and they're all legitimate. But here's the problem: if I go to the next level and say, well, what about the people who say physical media deserves to die because streaming is simply easier for me to click on the icon? You're going to throw up a million reasons, and that person is going to say, yeah, but I don't care about that. I just want to click on something.
And that's the side that I am running to at this point. The benefits are not outweighing.
What I'm saying is that it's easy to have this conversation if you're already predisposed to the idea that theaters are going to go because you don't value them as much as the home video experience.
Well, it's not just me that doesn't value them. The studios clearly do not.
The studios value money.
About, like, what about marketing? Because, like I was saying earlier, I wasn't going to see Orphan Kills in theaters, and like that's because it came out whisper quiet with no marketing. And back in the day, I guess it was easier because you had TV and you were watching whatever was on there and not skipping ads, but they used to sell you the movie. It was crazy. It was awesome. And you have to see it in theaters, and you can only see it in theaters, and they don't do that anymore.
Right.
So why would I go see Orphan Kills if they just silently drop it? And I have no hype for it. I didn't even know it was happening until it happened, So, I mean, maybe that's not something they can do for us, but that might be a smart business move. But that involves the studios too. But we used to have cross promotions. You would go to McDonald's and see Batman shit everywhere and bring home collector's cups. And it all felt like a big
all those studios feel bad. They don't want to promote Happy Meals because it's making kids fat. I think that's why they stopped doing all the, you know.
Good Lord.
Remember when George Lucas did them Star Wars toys in the mid '90s? I think that was his way of seeing if people were ready for more Star Wars movies, and all the kids got fat from eating Taco Bell. I did. God knows I did. You know.
To answer your question, Jonathan, it's probably not true for most kids, but my kid actually sits better in the theater. And I think it's
My kid
because
loves the theater,
it's an
and
experience.
I take my
at
son
home.
with me to most
And-
movies, and I think it's an enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
I do too. Okay,
Yeah.
but I'm talking
But I also
about
tell
me.
my kid he's got to sit.
I
You know,
don't know how
can't
many
be
kids you
jumping
got.
around.
I got one
I
kid.
only got one. He's
I got
14
one
now,
kid.
so it's a
It's
little
pretty
easier.
easy to wrangle, right? You can give
Yeah.
all your attention to that one kid, and it is a fun experience if you take them to the appropriate movie. Don't bring your newborn into my
No,
rated R
no.
movie, but like
Hell
you take
no.
it to an appropriate movie. Take them to an appropriate movie. It is fun. I'm talking about these crazy people that got 5, 6 kids. Corey. Corey Ross, that dude got, what does he got, 15, 16 kids? He's trying to start some sort of sports league, I think.
Or a cult.
He's yeah. How can he afford to take them to the theater? For God's
That's what I'm saying, man. Like this, there's so many reasons that regular people don't want to go to the theater, and I'm just siding with some of those reasons. Like that works for me.
I want to go back to something Lawrence said because he's right. Well, we're the physical media guys. I don't have a dog in that fight. If somebody tells me streaming's way more convenient than buying the movie, I say, yeah, you're right. So I just want that to be.
Your audio
dropped out, Christian.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
What I was saying was with what Lauren was saying, it's right, but I don't have a dog in that fight. I don't argue that streaming is not more convenient than going out and buying movies, But the fact of the matter is, I think with the theater thing, it's multi-layered. I don't think it's our fault as much as it is the studio's fault for making the shit go to streaming the same day. If it wasn't at streaming, I would go to the theater.
Yes.
Like I said, I would go see Orphan First Kill if it was at the theater and that was it. But
And I
if
don't
it's at
think
my
they need to
house,
wait.
And you
Wait
might see
6
them
months
cut
to
back
release it on a
more.
home video or streaming, but
Yeah.
give it
They
30
might-
days.
Hey,
They might
I
cut
watched
back
Black
more.
Phone in the theater. I went to go see that because guess what? That's the only place I could go see it.
And
You
I
know?
think you will see them cut back even more on that because it's not everything going day and date now.
Black Phone was on Peacock.
Yeah, but tell me, other than large screen, bigger screen that you can get in your house, because sound is not an issue. That can be replicated even better in your home.
Well, also,
other than giant screen.
It's the event of going.
No,
for
I
a
get
lot of
that.
people.
I
The
get that.
smell.
Is that enough to save it? It's not. You can use
Well,
the
that's the same with physical media. I mean, anybody who's arguing convenience probably isn't like a big cinephile. So it would be weird for them to argue so passionately anyway, almost. But
Well, I think-
for people who are into physical media and the theater, it's about ownership and experience over convenience because we love movies.
There's
You know
not
what I'm
enough.
saying?
It's the same argument with physical media. There's not enough of us.
So let's this is a good segue because here's the deal. Here's the numbers from last weekend. Okay, total disc sales. This is Blu-ray. This is UHD. This is DVD. $31.5 million. That's the total market share of everything that sold last week on physical media. How much was made at the box office on the slowest week of the year? Okay, traditionally it's always true right before Labor Day. $52 million. So theaters brought in $20 million more than physical media did on the slowest week of the year for theaters, and it's actually a pretty good week for physical media. So let's not blow this out of proportion. Theaters are not in as bad a shape as physical media by a long shot.
I never said they were at the same thing. I
that-
said
that-
in my lifetime, it's heading that way.
It's not.
You can't
No.
deny it.
That box office weekend was that one guy with those 15 kids. That's
Yeah,
it.
right.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that was that one guy.
I think
Thanks, Corey.
I don't. If you look at the trend lines, theaters are not decaying anywhere nearly as quickly as home video as physical home video is. Now, the problem with streaming, I'd love to throw streaming numbers at you, but they're not available. None of the services make them available, so we don't even know where that stands. There's a lot of
I don't
faith.
know, man.
there's probably a reason why they don't.
I'm going to use your own argument against you, Lauren. Just because you love it doesn't mean it's not going to go away.
So I just
they are
quoted you
different, though.
$20 million.
Theaters and home
I've got you,
media,
buddy.
physical
Look at
media are
those
different.
same metrics from 10 years ago.
I was gonna say, look at theater numbers by a week before COVID, and which caused the streaming.
I'll compare the height of DVD or VHS versus theaters versus now. Absolutely.
I'm not comparing physical media. I'm saying that
That's what
theaters
we're doing.
I'm saying this is on a decline. No, I'm saying I'm using your physical media argument.
He's
It is
talking
on the
about
decline.
he's
It is
talking
nowhere
about the week
near
to week
in
of
shape.
theaters before COVID,
It
which
is
is what
nowhere
kind of
near
caused the
in
streaming
better
thing.
shape as physical media is. Nobody's arguing that. What I'm saying is it is downwardly trending. And it shall continue to downwardly trend. There's not going to be this big resurgence where theaters where they were, in the mid 2000s, mid 90s. It's not going to happen.
It's happened before, though. And not just a few times.
and
Okay,
also,
if
and also
something
a big
drastic
spike
changes,
back,
maybe.
a big spike back up and a level of sustain are two different things too. They don't have to, if they could sustain, they don't have to reach the heights they did in the 2000s. They just have to make a profit and exist.
I'm just saying, dude, it's going that way. If we'd have had, I'm sure if we'd have had this discussion about whether back in 2005, whether or not Netflix was going to run all of the fucking video stores out of business, I'd have heard every one of these arguments as well.
I will defend. I'm not getting into numbers or anything, but I can say, like with my nieces and nephews, it is not necessarily a more pleasant experience watching a movie with them at home. Sometimes it's a zoo. Like the theater does at least force you to put your phones down, put your tablets
but
down.
as a father, I just say
not my theater.
Sure, yeah,
to put
I'm
their
not
phones down.
denying.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not denying. I'm just saying the large family stuff. Like I can't stand watching a movie at home with my nieces and nephews who will not watch the movie because they will be on their phones. I'm not arguing numbers or trends. I don't follow that as closely as a lot of you guys. But
Let me ask a question. Are we talking about theaters declining if COVID never happened right now? Are we having that conversation if COVID never happened? Because that's what triggered this streaming debuting movie crap. Will we have this conversation?
Probably not.
Not
There
for
you
a
go.
while,
There you go.
at
There's your
least.
answer. There's your answer.
I think it would have happened eventually.
For me, though, it still comes down to
COVID changed the business model.
Right. For me, it still comes down to, is this a movie that I have to see in the theater over streaming? And if the answer is no, and 95% of the time the answer is no, I'm good to just stream it.
Exactly.
And
that's no. Why a film like Halloween Ends, which is a film that a large proportion of people want to see in theaters, why I just don't? It's such a strange business decision for me to go same day. I just cannot get my head around that. Halloween 2018 is pre-COVID. I agreed, but Halloween 2018, to my knowledge, did really good money at the box office.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
This is the final film in a trilogy. I just cannot get my head around because all the casual fans are just going to go. You know, the casual fans, okay. The casual fans are not going to watch it on Peacock. They're just going to stream it illegally. They're not going to pay Peacock.
I think Lauren probably nailed it on the head when he said that there's probably, Universal's probably hedging their bets here because they know that the hardcore fans are going to go to the theater and watch it. And, those of us who are on the fence about it, it'll cause a hike in Peacock subscriptions for a month, So that's kind of the way I honestly see it too. I mean, I if all the rumors and stuff about the test screenings not being positive and, what we've heard about the movie, it sounds like a train wreck. So I think Universal is like, okay, well, we're going to go day and date. The hardcore fans will go and see it in theaters, and, the others will get their money through Peacock for a month or two. So That's
Kill still did good going day and date, didn't they?
it did, yeah. I mean, it still did really well going day and date.
Really quick, you said something early. Like, I don't know if you said this, but like, think back before or COVID, even like the mid 2000s, the 2000s and 2010s. A lot of those movies that we saw in theaters had that straight to streaming look and feel. But they were theater movies because there's no such thing as streaming. Now I hear it said like, oh, it looks like such a straight to streaming movie. And that's like a new term now. That's like the new straight to video almost.
Yeah.
But like, dude, if you just put this shit in theaters, like, I just don't think this is our fault as much as it is the studios. I'm sorry.
I know. I totally agree. And I don't think it's like I said, you nailed it with, if you have the option, a lot of people are going to take that option to watch it at home. But for me, it's all about quality. If there were 10 movies that I had to see in the theater this year, I'd have gone and seen them. But there's only been 2. Now as it, and Mike nailed something. When I was a kid, there was no theater in my hometown. For me to go to the movies, it's a 30-mile drive to go to the movies. I would have loved to have had day and date when I was a kid. I would have watched so many movies with that kind of accessibility. But that wasn't the case back then. But
yeah, and that's kind of a thing where I tend to wait for most movies on like home video, because when I was a kid, a theatrical experience was really rare, and I only did it when a movie was for sure like an eventful thing. So I'm kind of still in that habit, and I still am very choosy about what I go to a theater to see.
Well, Alexis brings up a good point when it comes to streaming too. You got to have good internet to stream a movie, especially in high definition or 4K. And I mean, there's a lot of people in the world who are in the US who don't have great internet. So, or there's a lot of people in the US who still have capped internet,
Barbaric.
Exactly. Exactly. We got Swaggy G back with us. Swaggy, what's going on, man?
Hey, yeah, I feel like all of y'all made good points. I feel like it always comes back to money. Like you talked about, Piz, the cost of going to the theater is so high now. I took a date to go see Top Gun Maverick on a Friday night at 9:00 showing, and it was almost $40. And that was without buying any food, and for something else I think about is Prey. All right. So that went straight to Hulu. Why wasn't that in the theaters? Was it just not that good of a quality movie? Is there not an audience enough that would go and see that? So I know I feel like these companies, they all have formulas, and they look at that, how, well, better to get somebody to pay a subscription to our streaming service than to have them go to the theater and see it. Unless it's like a Marvel movie that has that big production, or something like that, or that latest Batman movie. But now I feel like Christian brought this up. It just, why would you go to the theater whenever it's released directly to streaming? There's no longer that wait of like a year. And then I think another thing too is how, I can't speak for all of y'all, but I'm 40, so I'm used to going to the theater and seeing a movie. Nowadays, that's, if you're, born, 5 years ago or so, now that's not a common thing. You could just stream it, So you talk about that theater experience. Well, that's for an older generation. That doesn't really mean that much now if you're up and coming. That's just, my opinion on that. But I feel like all of y'all made good points.
That's an interesting point, because I mean, Dan mentioned, his nieces and nephews watch everything on their phone. They play on their phone. Does, like even when I hear about kids watching movies on their phone, I'm just like, God, no, but they do. Like, there's a kid watching Top Gun Maverick on their phone right now going, this movie looks awesome.
One thing I haven't heard mentioned too is the waiting time from theater to seeing it streaming is very short window now. It used to be a lot longer, but now it's like sometimes it's even 2 months, 3 months, 4 months max, and then you can watch it at home. It used to be a lot longer than that, especially back when video was out, like VHS. I'm dating myself there, but it would be like a year before you saw anything on HBO or anything.
Oh yeah,
that was in theater.
Well, now, I mean, even now, if it doesn't go day and date, that window is what, a month, a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean,
yeah, even something big like the second Doctor Strange movie, I feel like that went to Disney Plus within a few months. That did really well in theaters.
Yeah,
right,
so I just
ahead.
think a lot of people are more willing to, like, if they're on the fence about seeing a movie, I'll just wait to see it on streaming. So they just kind of default to that. So they're passing over more movies in the theater than they normally would just because the window is shorter. I know I've caught myself doing that, where I'm kind of like, I don't know about this movie. I'm just going to wait.
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
At this point, well, actually, September 1st is the date we're using here. At this point, there's been about $5 trillion made at the box office this year. If we compare that with 2019, that it was at 7.6 trillion. Okay. The truth is, though, the decline is still absolutely survivable material. We're not talking anywhere near the baseline of cost versus profit. We're so far from it's not funny. And the trend is that it was larger than that before the pandemic. The pandemic brought it down to about 1 trillion and then 2.4 trillion in the 2 pandemic years. And now it's jumped back to 5 by September. Does not sound like it's dying. It sounds like it's trying to find its way back. You could be right. I just think everyone thinks that theaters are dying is jumping to a conclusion.
Like I said, I didn't think it's not gonna die within the next 10 years.
So
I'll see it gone.
If you're saying that, then you're talking about an entirely different industry in 10 years.
Okay. Well, right now it's in that transitional period.
I think there might also be a money-making need for it because, let's be honest, and I'm not advocating for this, but I don't have to pay for any of these streaming services.
Nope.
There's ways around it. I don't see how you're getting these $300 million Marvel movies without theaters. To me, again, and I don't understand the business side as much as Lauren or some of you guys, but I still think business-wise, there's probably a need for these theaters. To me.
Yeah, right now, and they're figuring out a way to get around them now, is what they're doing.
If the numbers remained at pandemic levels coming out of the pandemic, I'd say we have a definite worry. But they didn't. It's not at the height, but also look at the releases in 2017 and 18, and you might see.
And I'd argue this. Has anybody I think the next thing could be, has anybody watched a movie in VR yet?
Mm-mm.
I have.
And it's the effect is good, but I mean, the quality's not there yet, right? It's still a little blurry, a little off or whatever, but it feels like you're in a room with a giant screen in front of you.
Is everybody going to want to put the headgear on for that though? Is one other?
Who knows? What does the head get? Hey, I'm telling.
What
does the next phase look like?
Into that, because that's what they know. That's common.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be second nature to them.
Right, exactly.
And this stuff is going to get smaller. It's going to get more compact. It's going to get more convenient.
Sure, we might have virtual reality if we live long enough, and all of
it's not even
going to be irrelevant.
If we live long enough. We're going to see it.
I've just always seen that as such hype. Nobody's going to
strap
consistently close
Strap one
themselves off from the world. You
In the
know,
1950s, there was plenty of news articles. You can bring them up right now on the internet about television killing movie theaters, and it turned out it was a different market. Mostly, it had an
That's
effect.
actually a decent. That's actually a decent point, Jamie.
There's very little. I don't know. Like, what do kids do for dates now? Like,
don't-
honestly,
they
or
don't-
they don't
you know,
date
this-
as much. Maybe I don't know.
This is kind of a point that Jonathan brought up without zeroing in on it, though. You know, our generation, we're movie theater and physical media folks, but we're going to die soon.
Yeah.
The next generation, the kids, they're streamers. They're in the house 24/7. They've got a phone in front of their face 24/7.
He's trying to say useless, but he's not. He's being nice.
So they consume their media this way. Maybe they're, maybe we're aging out of the target audience. They want, the kids.
Yeah.
oh, we aged out a while ago, Piz.
Well, I mean, that's quite true.
Honestly,
Y'all did. Y'all did. I'm just now aged out. All right.
What was the biggest movie of last weekend? Not the one we just completed, the one before that.
I don't know. Maverick.
The Dragon Ball movie. Subtitled. Not domestic. That's a youth audience. That is not people our age.
More realistic.
No. That's
too.
people my age, Lauren.
No, it's not.
Dragon Ball Z is from when I was a kid, and that's the people that are in the theater when
I don't think you'd even recognize it.
I go see all those. The Broly movie, Resurrection Z. I haven't seen Superhero yet, but it's this generation that's seeing those movies.
Okay. The news report on it was the big news report was that it was the 16 to 25 demographic was like 80% of the audience. So maybe the reports are wrong. I don't know. It's certainly not the 50 and up.
No, it's not. We can rule that one out. I don't even think that crowd goes.
No, that crowd does actually with the movie passes, especially.
Oh yeah, they're retired. They got to
Yeah.
fill in some time.
Yeah, it's all people like in their my age, late 30s, and 50
No
and
joke.
up.
When I went to see X, it was me and old people, and that theater
Like-
was packed.
Age appropriate for the movie, old people.
No, I mean, well, some of them.
X was a surprisingly old crowd for me too. I was looking around and like, man, this is
Well,
Yeah.
old people still
They
remember.
go-
They're
they
like,
get
I like to
the- they
bone.
go
I used to like to bone too.
No, they go
Get some of
they
that.
get everything.
Did you see him turn that woman's offer down like that?
Let's do something nice for an audience member. Let's give Joshua Snare a shout out. Joshua, shout out to Joshua. Thank you
Shout
for
out.
being with us. Thank you
Hey.
for being with us tonight.
Keep it real.
And if you've not dropped a like on this stream, please do so. We would all appreciate that. But yeah, that turned into a much longer, far more heated conversation than I had
You
anticipated.
put me and Lauren on opposite sides of something.
But you know, it was
That's what
Twice
happens.
this week.
Counterpoint.
it was very entertaining nonetheless. So
Go check out the aliens debate on Visited by Voice.
Absolutely.
I wanted to. Mike was doing a stream before before my stream started, and he brought up an interesting topic. He was talking about, and correct me here if I'm wrong. I kind of caught in the middle of the discussion. You were talking about television series, or just series in general that stick around too long. Was that the?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, making a point about TV shows that it seems to be. I'm not trying to pick on American shows in general, but a couple of the classic British shows like The Office, Fawlty Towers, 2 seasons, 12 episodes. Each episode is memorable, like just the setup, how it was played out, and a lot like American Office. How many seasons? 7, 8, 100+ episodes.
9 wonderful Much better seasons than the UK version. That's how many.
But I think we can
The
also.
British
I mean, we,
office, the British office pisses over the American office every day.
Is you want to take care of this guy?
what's funny?
Just
Well, what's
like-
funny is the Brits love and will defend the British office to the death. Americans will love and defend the American office to the death.
You want to know how that battle plays out? I want you to look at a year 1776. It's going to go a lot like that. That's all I'm saying.
One word for you, Emmerdale.
I can be the one to piss you both
I know-
off.
I
I
know,
think they're both overrated. I don't know.
But
I
I can.
watched
But
a little of both, and I
That's just
don't.
rude, Dan. And uncalled
Emmerdale has
for.
been on longer than I've been alive, so British television series do go on too long.
Well, Dan, I'll say for the American version, you got to watch a little bit more than a little bit. Like
I
I
watched
can't
a
watch the
handful.
first season at all. The first season is trash.
The first season is trying to be the British one, and then
And it doesn't work.
Eventually forms into its own thing.
yeah. The second, third, fourth seasons, those are all really good. Even their lesser seasons toward the end are still pretty darn good.
Like James Spader saves an entire season.
Yeah. James
On his
Spader.
own. I'm the fucking Lizard King.
Colombian White.
I will.
I wasn't.
say,
I wasn't just
if
talking
the
about
Sim-
television.
if the Simpsons, if the Simpsons had been British, the Simpsons would have ended up to season 5.
Wouldn't have been funny either.
Is
So
it
I mean,
a
you got that
difference
give and take.
between the humor between the United States
No,
and Britain?
I
No,
don't
there's
think-
certainly
nah,
a difference.
I'm just fucking with you, Mike.
That's
I love you.
Like those later, like reunion Red Dwarf seasons, kind of, they're not very good. Just saying.
No, I mean I get that model for some stuff. Like I think Breaking Bad is as close as like an American version can get to it. It had an ending in mind when it started, and that's where it should end.
Mhm.
The problem with canceling a television show in the United States is the time you really need to cancel the show is the time when people are begging for more. By the time you get to the downslide, it's already too late. Like if anyone can see it, it's way too late.
You either end as The Walking Dead 2012,
Yeah,
or
just-
you continue on to be The Walking Dead 2022.
Exactly.
It's like I said before to Mike. Over here, we milk shit. If merch is selling, that show's not going
Yeah.
anywhere.
But there's also, not just television series, but like the series that we get on the streaming services. You know what I mean? Like there's no end game in sight. It doesn't seem like the end game is, oh, wait a minute, that last season got poor ratings. Just cancel it. There was no end game. We just canceled it. Or they'll go, well, I think there's enough fanfare left for, let's give them this will be the last season. So I know you're not prepared, but this is the last season.
The fans are not the people to appropriately tell you when something needs to end because we will always ask for more.
That's true. That's very true.
Halloween.
Exactly. Like, there's so many examples. We will keep consuming it, but we're gonna bitch. Okay, we're gonna keep buying that shit
Until you get to the point where all of a sudden it just stops, and then
and then there's a backlash, and all of a sudden you're Duck Dynasty.
there you go, Duck Dynasty. Yeah. Yep.
That was the watch show around here, buddy.
No, I hear you.
Did any of y'all watch the X-Files?
Oh yeah,
I loved the X-Files for it. That was another one. It just it went on a little too long.
That story, they had to keep building and building and building, and it got David Duchovny, he left at like season 5, and it went on, I think, for 9 seasons.
Well,
It came back as well.
Yeah, you're right. They even brought it back again. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Is anything truly canceled anymore? Because in 5 years, somebody's gonna beg to put it back on.
Or they do spinoffs. Yeah.
What were you saying, Lauren?
Well, the problem with X-Files is that they had a end game planning because the whole series was supposed to revolve around the Samantha mystery. And Scully was supposed to end up being revealed as Samantha. And then there was a bunch of fan theories that got very loud that said that. And they actually changed it and went in a different direction quietly in an episode, in a very anticlimactic episode, and capped that storyline off. And just they just didn't have anywhere to go. I actually like the Doggett and Reyes episodes a lot. That most people don't because they weren't trying to be the first 5 seasons. But yeah, once they brought the original cast back for that 9th season, that's a painful one for me. And those reunion, I actually like the event series, but then that final real series was a mess. I think what would have been more appropriate is do 6 seasons of X-Files, give it that Scully Samantha ending, and then do a spin-off with new characters, which they basically did anyway, but just don't try and make it the original show.
Would the Scully as Samantha...
There's evidence in this episodes, yeah.
Would it, but I mean, would that payoff have been... Because, I mean, it's like, well, of all the women on the planet that could be his long-lost sister, it just happened to be Scully. They're both FBI agents. They're both put together. You know,
So-
was it all the X?
Because the
Was X
Smoking
behind it all?
Because the Smoking Man put her there, which is established in the first episode.
Okay. I mean, I'm trying to remember back. I used to love the X-Files. I watched the hell out of it, but like I can't remember. And at some point I just stopped watching because I was like, ugh. I stopped believing.
My problem is they kept losing the side characters that I like the most, like Krychek. Like killing off Krychek, big mistake.
Krychek was cool. Yeah.
He should have eventually been the big bad of the series because the cool thing about him is he was actually a good guy. He just didn't have morals. He was trying to stop the alien invasion by like being the nastiest motherfucker on the planet. And that's just such a cool concept is that maybe to win this thing, you have to be a Krychek, not a Mulder.
I love the Monster of the Week episodes.
I
liked it.
I didn't like the comedy episodes. I thought they did it once well, and then they just tried to do it every season, and I was like, oh, please.
The tapeworm monsters one that sticks out to me.
That was
Then
good.
there was the one guy. Do you remember the one guy who could he crawled through the tiny little opening between the 2 cells? Like
Tombs.
that one freaked the hell out of me. Yeah, that one freaked me out.
This episode from season 1 is the greatest thing ripoff ever.
Oh yeah,
I remember that episode. Yeah, that was a good one.
Jeff Gober.
Oh yeah.
And
Then
the
there was
finale, the Erlenmeyer Flask, is amazing. That's a great piece of filmmaking, not even television, just filmmaking.
there was a vampire episode with the lady that was in Child's Play 3. Her name escapes me. I remember liking that episode a lot too.
There's
what?
some fantastic standalone episodes of X-Files out there. I'm spacing on the name, but the one that Fox pulled for years that was based
Home.
on the Home. Okay, yeah, Charlie Chaplin's story in his book.
Got
Which,
Mama,
if you read up on that and watch the episode, like my God, that is chilling. That is it. Just I think that scarred people so bad, and wow, what an episode!
keep Mama under a creeper under the bed.
Go ahead and rewatch those Doggett and Reyes episodes. I think it's season 7 and 8. Watch them again because there's more to them than you remember. I think if once you distance yourself and didn't want Scully and Mulder, there's a lot there. It's better than when they tried to keep the series going on too long without changing.
What was that one episode that scarred you?
Home. Everyone was scarred by Home.
Okay,
Home.
I'm gonna have to go.
It's Hills Have
revisit.
Eyes in West Virginia.
That was
Oh,
it only ran once, didn't it? Or did it get a rerun? Or
Later, like 5 or 6 years later, something like that. I think they finally would put it
They
in
showed it on
rotation.
Halloween.
Some
Yeah.
of the actual like letters they got are hilarious. Just people like I sat up crying all night, like crazy stuff. It is. It's scarier than Hills Have Eyes, quite frankly.
It's a better wrong turn than wrong turn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm trying to find it on YouTube. I'm not having any luck.
Mom lives under the bed.
on the creeper.
They just bring her out to breathe. I mean, it's nasty.
It's disgusting. Yeah, it really is.
That's one oh go. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead because I'm going to derail everything.
Yeah, I was going to say that first X-Files movie was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And that next movie, it was such a drop off.
Just felt like a big episode, right?
Yeah, it was just like, there's been a lot of drop offs for a sequel.
I don't think it's as bad as its reputation, but it just felt like a big episode of the television show. But Cinemurdrum video in the chat says, "What about Millennium?" Which is actually my preferred Chris Carter show. I think Millennium is brilliant, start to finish. The bravest thing probably ever put on television.
Oh yeah, that Carnival and Millennium I always name drop is two shows. Didn't last, but my
How
God,
many
were they
seasons did
good.
that get?
3.
3? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Millennium was 3.
Although
Carnival was 2.
There's a later X-Files episode called Millennium that tries to tie it up and does a really bad job.
Oh.
I remember liking Millennium a lot when it was first airing.
The first season is all serial killers of the week, kind of 7-ish stuff, but it's good. But the second season, when they get into all the conspiracies and the bloodline of Jesus, and I mean, it gets to, it's just amazing storytelling.
Yeah.
Lance Hendrickson, is that who that was?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah.
He's going to be
I
at
do remember that.
Scarefest, actually. Yeah.
Yes.
As the other Frank Black.
Jonathan, are you coming to Scarefest?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I will be there.
Chris, are you coming to Scarefest?
I'm gonna try. There's a
Okay.
chance I might ride with Jonathan, right?
Yep.
Oh my God. Wear the seatbelt.
I think most people are going to be there now in the podcasting community.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's going to be
We're gonna have our own
a,
little YouTube con. Offshoot.
be
got enough.
quite an event.
Yeah, I mean, if you're fans of us, this really would be like a big deal for you. But both of you can't make it. Both of our fans. So.
Oh well. I was going to talk about the potential end of another thing that we all love, but I don't want it to go down the same rabbit hole that the theater talk went
I'll be
down.
quiet.
With an H and with an N, because yes, it will.
No, I don't want to talk about Halloween ends. It is Halloween related, but it really is more related to Scream Factory, and Scream Factory is reminding me more and more. There we go, Huff the outgassing. Yes. And you grew a third ear. Let me take care of the porn bot here.
No,
porn bot.
I love them. Leave them.
Sorry, I got
subscriber.
sorry.
Biggest
I gotta
fan, bro.
gotta let you go. But what Scream Factory more and more reminds me, Scream Factory today reminds me more and more of Anchor Bay toward the end of their run, when they were just releasing the same thing over and over and over again. And if you remember, toward the end of Anchor Bay's run, they started having some quality control issues as well. The very first disc replacement program I was ever a part of was an Anchor Bay release.
Well, I mean, it's a lot of the same players from Anchor Bay, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't think so. Not at this point.
Well, I think there's a difference there, and that's that they're kind of controlling where the boutique thing is going. And forever they've been slowly like raising prices, pulling back on extras, getting people used to paying more for less. They're like, I blame them for really pushing like the end of physical media. If physical media ever does end, I think Scream Factory sped it up personally.
Mm-hmm.
And like Anchor Bay, I mean, they were offering choices for titles they could get in a sea of other releases. Whereas I think Scream Factory is more cancerous because they're actually affecting things. Other companies are following their lead, and it's way more harmful to the whole environment, in my opinion.
I've used your stream piz where you show that disc as a reference lately, and I'm sorry, like I buy a lot of movies. If I'm an authority on anything, it is physical media. I have never opened a brand new disc and had grease.
It looks
on
like
the
it has
bottom of
butter
it.
all over it.
Yeah, never have I ever seen that. Now, I've had arguments like, well, look at some of your cases. You might see that slight little bubbling on
Okay.
some of them. And all right, yes, maybe, but never anything on
It
the
was
bottom of the
slathered,
disc.
man. I don't know how you hang on to it.
I heard from
Yeah.
several people saying, well, I've gotten 4Ks and Blu-rays in that condition. And I'm like, I've never, ever received a Blu-ray or a 4K with the case in that kind of condition and the discs in that kind of condition either. I mean, the Friday the 13th box set, the discs had like fingerprints on them and hair on them, but not like this
Got
goo.
7 copies of the same movie, but
And do we also notice a theme? Scream Factory. They suck.
What was their reply to you on that, Piz? I missed that part of your stream last night.
That it is outgassing and just wipe it off.
Just wipe it off.
Just wipe it off. It's not our problem.
It's like buying a shirt. That's like buying a shirt and it has a stain on it, and they're just like, "Oh, just bleach it,
wipe it off."
Like, so ridiculous, man.
Yeah, just.
Well, this wouldn't be that big a deal if pricing on these things were not getting out of control too.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, if you were buying a UHD disc and it was costing $15, you'd probably be like, if I need to wipe it off, I need to wipe it off.
Exactly.
But I mean, now that 30, which we used to say we'd never pay, now people are like paying. Screw this. The boutique labels either have to figure out that the only time they're going to sell items is during sales, or they need to up their game and be a real company, not rely on just the like trapped fandom.
And not all of them are Scream Factory. There are some great companies. To me, to not at least, even if it's just a BS $5 coupon, which will buy you nothing, something is like, hey, we recognize we kind of screwed up here.
What that says to me is that any future releases could possibly have all this butter on it, and I don't really feel like washing all my Scream Factory movies.
Yeah, I'm extremely concerned about my Return of the Living Dead pre-order. You know,
I'm done with them personally. I've called it. I can't trust them. I'm done.
Yeah. They don't seem to care for sure the way they respond.
Of the insular collector's market inside the horror collector, anyway, physical media has kind of shifted towards the Vinegar Syndrome and Severin world anyway recently. So they probably are feeling a pinch, and that's why they're releasing the same title 7 times and special grease editions. And you get a poster that's going to be torn in half, but what the hell? They're only making 20,000 of them.
With Piranha, you get a $60 set of enamel pins.
Well, and speaking of posters, somebody posted an email from Scream Factory where they had contacted them saying, well, my Child's Play posters were damaged. And the response was, okay, well, send us proof of you destroying the posters, and then we'll send you replacement posters.
It's so ridiculous, dude.
That to me, that tells me that's not arrogance or just what that tells me is like, as a company, for us to, the cost of us to ship that to you, we got to hold on to that unless we're 100%. You got to go out of your way to prove to us that these things were damaged for we're going to spend the $5 to ship you the other posters.
And I'm not interested in that for your fucking paper. Like, I'm not.
It is arrogance too, though, man. It's extremely like we're too big to fail, and you're at our.
You
mercy.
should be so lucky to get a destroyed poster from us.
It's pretty.
It's like third grader behavior is what it is. It's like, well, okay, I did something bad, but I'm going to need you to prove on your side that you're not ripping me off.
But could they be hurting financially to the point where they're like, we've got to. That's $5 out of the budget to send him replacement posters that we didn't figure in.
I think they're worried about a Twitter post that says, hey, they did the right thing. They replaced my damaged poster, and then they get 45,000 emails about posters.
I mean, I've received damaged posters from Scream Factory. I took photos, attached them to an email, and said, I got damaged posters. They sent me replacement posters. That was it. Now you've got to destroy the posters and film yourself destroying them. It's the Criterion crap. Now I've said this. Criterion to me is a gimmick. I'm not a Criterion fan. To have to destroy a disc that they screwed up and send them a video of you destroying the disc so that you can get, to me, that's beyond, that's total arrogance.
Well, one thing that I'm glad that physical media has not gone out, but you talked about incentives to make people go to the movie theater. Incentives to get physical media are those add-ons. You talk about the artwork, the posters. So those companies have done a good job with incorporating more things to get people interested in it besides just the movie itself.
See, I'd argue that's where they're failing.
Yeah, I'd say it's the opposite for me. It's like bring the price down, give me the movie looking and sounding great, as better as I've seen it in life, and bring that price down.
Give me the Vestron. Give me the Vestron system.
Really?
Special artwork. Definitely keep your fucking slipcases, and just give me the movie at a reasonable price, looking and sounding as good as you can. That's what I care about.
That's one thing that bothered me about that Happy Death Day fiasco. It really bothered me because most people's complaint wasn't this is $35. Their complaint was it doesn't have a slipcase. that 4K is a $20 4K with a slipcase. Nobody complained once about the price, really.
Lauren had a great point the other night. Go to Walmart, check out their latest, indie releases that they do still carry. They probably come with a slipcover for $10.
What's that Synapse release where if you want a slipcover, you've got to pay extra for it?
Satan's Little Helper.
Satan's Little, that's it. Yeah,
$10.
$10. It's a separate SKU item. Like you have to click 2 things to fucking buy this thing.
And it's $19.99 on Amazon. And I recommend the movie, by the way. But
I do too. I'm getting the movie from Amazon.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I got to see this abomination against Christ this week.
You didn't like Massacre at Central High?
The fact that someone said we want $50 for this,
well, that
blows my fucking mind.
I didn't pick it up for that reason, but I love the movie.
I mean, it was fine. Like, I guess. Like, I just feel like it was something that had a cool title and was available. And they're like, let's pretend this shit's awesome.
I see. It's been a big cult item forever. I mean, I can remember reading like those top cult films of all time. It was always in the top 20.
Okay, I'll give you that. But like, it's whatever. There's no way that's a $50 release or the newest one that wasn't supposed to come out that wasn't still.
How long was I screaming for a Kindred release?
It's been a while.
I didn't buy it because it was ridiculously priced.
Yeah, it's too expensive.
Well, don't worry. They're going to put it out on a regular release now.
It's going to get its own.
Regular.
That's when I'm going to buy it.
I've said my piece about that as well.
But what's the price? What's the price going to be on that though?
It's suggested will be 24, I think. But I mean, the sale on Amazon will bring it down to 20. I'm sure. Yeah. 20, and that's fine. I'm not saying they have to give me anything. I'm just saying that pinching the remaining buyers of physical media, of which I'm one, makes no sense. When things get harder to sell, you don't raise the price on them.
Right. But it comes with a postcard that you're going to look at and put back in it.
Yeah. Here's a special feature that you're never going to watch again in your life.
It's the sound guy doing commentary.
Some special features I do rewatch if they're that good. I will rewatch them.
I couldn't believe that True Romance was $60 for one of the versions.
What? No, that fell. That dropped like really quick. That was
an
SRP thing.
I got it for cheaper, but retail was $60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Still worth it. Great movie. Great movie. Gary Oldman's performance alone is $60.
No,
white boy
cost that to own a copy at home.
He thought it was White Boy Day.
You thought it was White Boy Day. Is it White Boy Day? Yeah, it ain't White Boy Day.
And the standard edition thing, that's important to me. But that's something also that Scream Factory doesn't do a lot. They price these things really high, and if you want it, that's what you got to pay.
Right.
That's another thing.
Their
I hate.
standard releases are worse, man, because they're like $20 and come with nothing.
Yeah, like they're doing these limited runs on certain titles, but they're like $30. And I don't know.
They love to catch you with the limited run.
Right.
Great gimmick.
And they do that
Limited
with
run just
Corman
happens to
stuff,
be
which
larger
they
than what we
own
expect to
like
sell this
flat
thing
out
anyway.
too.
Yeah.
I think, but you see, this is the thing. Like, physical media could have saved itself at a certain point if the price tag had lured people back. We're past that now. It's the die's cast, but it's like there was this sweet spot where like the major studios even did it. I mean, Blu-rays don't come out at $30 and then get discounted anymore. They're all getting released around $20 pretty much by the big guys. The boutique labels are the ones that pinched us, and they're the ones we want to survive the most. But they're pushing us away. It's like the worst prom date ever.
I'm going to date myself here, but I worked at Kmart about 15 years ago. I'm going to go a little bit further back. But it was like every Tuesday was new movies released, and the DVDs was always $19.99.
Yep.
They were always $20 coming out of the gate.
Yeah. What kind of led me to this topic was the Halloween 6 H2O and Resurrection 4K set. The extras on those got released, and it's pretty much nothing. It's like somebody mentioned the commentary from like the food service guy in the chat. That's what you get. That's what they had to go to get for like new material on these releases. Is like, is the food service guy available? Put a TV in front of him and mic him up. Let him talk about the movie. That we'll count that as a new extra. But not a lot of new stuff on those films. The thing is 4K.
And the worst part is that there's so much they could go and get that still needs a Blu-ray release. Like Cube, the whole Cube franchise, they could do one of those cool box sets. Like, Hello Mary Lou, like we all name them all the time. And it's like they would rather re-release these because this is pure profit minus the rights pretty much. They're not really going out and getting crazy special features. They already have the 4K scans. They're just pressing the discs and charging $40 for them at this point. They're making so much profit off of it. You just know they are. And they're not doing any work anymore to warrant the price.
They just add like a little piece that says, the collector's edition, the steel book, box with it.
But that's what Anchor Bay was doing toward the end of their run with their 15th different Evil Dead release. Like, hey, we got a commentary from the co-editor or a commentary from the assistant to the cinematographer. We got an interview with the guy who drove Bruce Campbell to the set every day. You know what I mean? Now here's the super deluxe groovy edition of Evil Dead 2 or freaking Army of Darkness or whatever.
And Halloween, buddy. We're gonna push
Halloween.
out. We're gonna make a box set of 1, 4, and 5 because that makes sense. And it's what we got. So
So I don't know. Scream Factory more and more is reminding me of Anchor Bay, like toward the end of their run.
they're not doing stuff that I think a healthy company would do.
I don't know.
Well, they're riding the wave downward. That's the problem. But they're surfing towards the abyss rather than trying to swim away from it.
I mean, don't those companies only have like the rights to that movie for a certain amount of time?
It depends what they contracted.
Yeah. I mean, it seems to me like they may have those Halloween ones for a while. The ones they lose, like they lost Terror Train and they lost.
There's a shocker.
Those were like just limited. They only had those for a short amount of time.
Well, that's another thing too, and Alexis brought it up. That manufactured rarity, like they own Corman stuff flat out. They don't rent those out to release. They own the Corman collection, and these are like $5 cardboard set like space movies, and they release these limited release Blu-rays, like 1,500 at a time. Everybody buys them. Half of them are resellers. You can go look on eBay now. Most of those titles sell for $120 on eBay.
Reminds me, I
And
got a
they
copy of the
feed
Corn
into that so much, and they're just like, yeah, it's so criminal, dude. They're so scummy.
But on the other hand, life is not complete until you've seen Forbidden World. So
Oh, I love Forbidden World.
Well, some of them are great. I'm
I
not
just
going to
picked
say
that
they're
up.
garbage. I'm just saying they are dirt cheap stuff you used to find in a bargain bin.
absolutely. Well,
Screen Factory bought them, and they're just raking in money. Doing
Watch the uncut Forbidden World, by the way, Jonathan.
Oh, definitely.
You've not lived until you've seen Andrew Stevens' performance in The Terror Within 2. All right.
Oh,
So,
maybe you have.
limited edition. I've got mine up on eBay right now for $300. It's out of print, but it's worth every penny. I promise.
Humanoid.
Email me. I'll find you a stream within a few minutes.
Oh, don't do that. That's illegal. That's illegal.
We don't do illegal things here.
We don't. No. We have had quite a lively discussion here on this this stream. Quite a lively discussion, and I just want to thank all of you, you lovely folks, for joining me tonight. We actually had several people who had joined and they had to leave because they got so upset. It got so heated, you know. They're punching a pillow right now with a drawing of Lauren's face on it.
I sell those, so that's okay.
Yeah, so let's do some shout outs here really quick and then we'll call it a night. Let's see, shout out to Riordan, who tuned in over on Twitch. Shout out also to our buddy Griff, who was watching over on Twitch. Let's see who's still with us on YouTube. Shout out to Bismo for that $2 super chat, sir. Thank you very much. We've got movie fans still here. JT Soul, Ben Grimm, Norless Tapes 7. Alexis is horror. We got the Daily Ghost, who couldn't join us tonight, but hopefully next month.
Yeah.
We got Anthony Oliver. We got Big Crack Rock. I want to see who else wants to see Big Crack Rock on one of these things. It's time to come. It's time to come out of the shadows, Big Crack Rock.
I know. Got to come to Scarefest and let us know who you are, everybody.
Yes. Yes.
Just give us a wink.
Just a wink. That's it. Yeah. Don't reveal yourself. Just a wink. We got Donald Zickow in the chat. I think I mentioned Ben Grimm. Ben, what's up? Entertainment Wizard, JS, Vector Spectre, Alan Kostick, C12H22011, Total Meltdown 2, Sinner Murderum video, Chester 22, Barney likes beer, Watermelon Sprite. Watermelon Sprite sounds good. I could go for one of those right now. Justin Moreno, Drum Smash 88. Of course, the Porn Bot was with us for a short time.
Shout out Porn Bot.
Shout out to the Porn Bot. Shout out to Christian, who was here and had to leave a little early. Let's see, who else did we have that had to leave a little early? Seems like I don't remember. Don't hold that against me, though.
Jess.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be available for more of these in the future.
But I gotta say, I'm ultra impressed that Mike made it to 3 a.m. in Britain.
I know. Yes.
Mike's the MVP, man.
Round of applause for Mike. There he is. Bless his heart. Mike, where can we find you on social media?
Right here on YouTube, Real Fifth Beatle, live stream every Tuesday. Currently on 98 subscribers. So just 2 people in the chat who are not subscribed. Get me over the 100 mark. That'd be
Get
nice.
over there. Get this man 100 subscribers.
2 weeks today, me and Chris are going to be doing a live stream discussing the movies of John Carpenter. So that's 2 weeks today. So keep an eye out for that one.
Right on. Dan, where can we find you, sir?
Flesh Wound Features here on YouTube. We're getting all our Halloween season content ready to go. And I hate teasing something that may or may not happen, but 80s horror fans, we might have something possibly that nobody's ever seen before. But we're seeing if it's going to happen or not.
Wow.
Dan's butthole.
There you go.
You got to charge a premium for that.
It'll get more clicks than that, Jonathan.
Only Dan's.
Huffed the outgassing. If you survived the huffing of the outgassing, where can we find you on social media?
Slash Your Own Video. That's my channel, my Instagram. And right now I'm YouTuber of the month, horror YouTuber of the month for one more day. So you have one more day to go vote for this guy or any of the other ones. So go do that. There's only 24 more hours or something around there, close enough.
Right there.
Thank you. Yeah. Jonathan, Mr. Bombastic, where can we find you on social media?
I'm flaky. You don't want to follow me on social media. I'll do real good for about a month posting and then nothing. So
Then
nothing
it's
is
gone.
Yeah.
It's gone. It's gone. You're the JT Salinger of social media. Did I say JT or JD Salinger? I think it's JT. Lord, where can we find you, sir?
You can come dance the ghost with me over on the YouTube at the Visited by Voices 1. We have some exciting stuff coming up that I can't talk about, but is still coming together. And then there will be at the end of the new month, the Cronenberg retrospective big box thing that I'm doing. And on the Twitter, you can follow me at Lauren Dixon, just my name, all one word. And there I post remarkably little, but then respond to people I don't actually know. That's my life.
Aaron, where can we find you, sir?
I don't really do social media a whole lot, so I just kind of jump in on the stream sometimes on here. That's about it.
It's a pure way to live.
That's not a bad way. That's not a bad way. And Swaggy G, the new blood, where can we find you on social media?
Well, Piz, I'm kind of like Aaron. I'm not pushing anything. I don't have a channel. I really enjoyed the conversation, and thanks for having me. Y'all do a great job and keep it up.
Yeah, well, thanks for hopping on tonight. Hopefully the first of many patron streams you can join us for. And so thank you all for joining me tonight. It's always a good time to hang out with y'all and shoot the bull and talk movies and have a good time. So I appreciate it. Thank you all for being patrons. And if you'd like to join me for one of these streams in the future, follow the link in the description and become a patron today. All right. So you guys have a great rest of your Tuesday night. Have a great week. Thursday on my channel, the Unsolved Mystery stream. I got a good Unsolved Mysteries lined up for you guys. It will be scary though. So trigger warning. Also with it's gonna be rated PG-13. Okay. So just a warning. Anyway, all right, you guys have a great rest of your night. We'll see you again soon. Until then, peace.